You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode promises to be explosive because I'm going to be sharing with you my experience and all the knowledge and wisdom and challenges and mistakes I made when returning to the acting industry after a huge break. So you can learn from me if you are also returning to the industry, but also if you are not returning to the industry and you've never left it, you're still going to learn something, because everything that I share with you is what got me towards a big paying acting job that allowed me to get a really amazing review from a critic. My first ever. I've never had a critic watch my performance. And it led to me getting my agent, and it led to more auditions than I'd ever had in my life. And obviously that's what you want. You want those paying jobs. You want more auditions. So even if you're not returning to the industry, still tune in and listen, because there's a lot you can learn from this. I literally leave no stone unturned. I also want to say a really big thank you to every single person who has rated this podcast. It truly means the world to me. We're at 55 ratings, and we've got a 4.7 star rating, which is brilliant. So I would like to ask you if you could share with me in our DMs over at Standby Method Acting Studio on Instagram what I could do to improve this podcast. That would be absolutely brilliant, because I always want to leave you with as much knowledge as possible. I want to leave you inspired, motivated, and taking action, because I firmly believe we need more unknown actors breaking out into the industry, because we have got some phenomenal stories that we need to tell through the characters that we play. And yes, that's you. I want you as an unknown actor breaking out into the industry. So please do leave me some feedback in our DMs at Standby Method Acting Studio on Instagram, and I will take it on board. I will read every single piece of feedback that comes in. So let's dive in then. How do we make a good impression as we return to the acting industry after a break, as if we've never had a break? Because one of the things that can really play on our minds, not for all actors returning to the industry, but I know at least in my case, what I did is, I've got a big gap on my actor CV. People are definitely going to ask about that. My last credit was a good couple of years ago, if not longer, and then I'm returning. People are going to want to know why has she returned to the industry? Why has she got a gap on her CV? So we do want to not get sucked into those kind of worries, and you'll have your own worries if you're returning to the industry. Maybe they're similar to mine, maybe different to mine, but what we want to do is we want to replace them with discipline, consistency and confidence. So I took a big break from the acting industry, started getting lots of nudges internally to come back into the industry and act myself, because I've helped a lot of actors get into big paying acting jobs, commercially successful acting jobs. You hear it on the intro every time you listen, but things like Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, stage plays, getting signed by big agents. And something started telling me that you need to do that for yourself as well as helping everyone else. And of course, I tried to ignore the nudges and the niggles internally, as you do, because I was in a bit of a comfort zone helping my acting students. And obviously I really enjoy it. I love coaching them. I love giving them advice when they come to the classes. I love helping them get clear with their acting vision. But the more I ignored it, the more this feeling kept chipping away at me. So I'm here to say, perhaps if you're considering returning to the acting industry and you've just come across this podcast and you're looking for some inspiration, listen to those nudges. If you have been a little bit complacent with your acting career and you're getting those nudges to do more, listen to them. Any kind of internal nudges that you get, you need to listen, because it's your internal guidance system trying to say, hey, come on, This is what you need to do to live a truly fulfilling life. And that's what I believe acting, we're all actors because we love it. It's not a typical 9-to-5 job. I don't need to go into that. You know why you love it. You know why you're passionate about it. But you've got to listen to those nudges because, as I've said, your internal guidance system is trying to move you towards that rather than seeing the challenges that are in your life, or rather than staying in a comfort zone just because it feels easy. So eventually I listened to them. And what happened is I just got really clear, really, really focused. And I started working super hard on my acting career, whilst also obviously running Standby Method Acting Studio, which takes up a lot of my time. And when I did it, I can honestly say, even before I started getting lots of auditions, even before I started getting cast in things, I felt so good, so fulfilled, so confident. And this is what I want you feeling, because I think sometimes we can look at an acting career and go, oh, well, we're only successful if we're getting auditions. Oh, well, we're only successful if we're getting cast in things. But I need you to flip that on its head, because every piece of action that you take towards your acting career, whether that's figuring out what your branding is, whether it's creating a vision board, whether it's writing out your goals and then breaking them down into smaller goals, whether it's talking to another actor and getting information from them and getting inspired by them, whatever it is that you're doing is action nonetheless. And that is you being successful because you are immersing yourself in the thing that you want the most. The same way we would immerse in a character, and it's not just about the end result of playing the character on stage or on screen. There's a lot of stuff we do beforehand that gets us to that place. It's exactly the same thing with an acting career. There's a lot of things we do in the background before we actually get cast, before we actually get to the auditions or even get offered an audition. And so every tiny little step that you're taking towards making that happen is success. And that's why I felt so happy and so confident and so fulfilled, because on the outside, it would have looked like not much was happening. But people don't see what happens behind closed doors when you're beavering away on your acting career. And the more I felt good and confident and inspired and motivated and fulfilled, the more action I took. And so this is what I want for you. And so obviously I've shared with you that I got cast in a film and I got a critically acclaimed review for it. I got stage work. I got more auditions than I'd ever had. I landed an agent. I even got agents who couldn't offer me representation, saying, we recommend this agent, write to them. Like, this had never happened ever in my life before. So it was a really incredible, successful return to the acting industry. So I'm going to talk you through the things that I did. Now, even as I've already said, if you're not returning to the acting industry, but you've lost a bit of motivation or you've not been as on the ball, you can still use what I did, because these things that I used are not exclusive just to return into the acting industry. The things that we should be doing consistently. But of course, if you do return to the acting industry, to make sure it's not something that feels overwhelming, I've broke it down for you so you can do the things that I did in a way that feel good for you. So the first thing that I did is I replaced my worries with a big vision, and I broke that big vision down into smaller goals. So my big vision is, for this time in my life, what do I want to achieve? And I got really clear on the exact type of acting work that I wanted. That was the big vision. And so all the worries that I'd had previously before I'd left the acting industry as an actress, obviously I've always stayed in it as an acting coach, but before I left it, I had lots of worries about, am I good enough? Am I talented? Can I do this? There are lots of worries that we all have that are universal. That big vision replaced those worries, because the more I thought about the vision, the less space there was for those worries. And by breaking my big vision down into smaller goals, I stopped feeling overwhelmed. And I was like, actually, this is doable. I'm really capable of figuring this out. And that big vision was almost like a star. In the business world, we call it your North Star. It was like my North Star that was guiding me to where I needed to go. So every decision I made on my return to the industry would be based on whether it gets me closer or further away from my big vision that I'd created for myself. So that's what you need to do. Replace the worries with a big vision, break it down into smaller goals, and then you go, yeah, I can do this. I'm more than capable of doing this. And that's the mantra that I kind of repeated to myself, and I still repeat to myself now, is I am more than capable of figuring this out. When you're lacking motivation, I think a lot of the time we lack it because everything seems overwhelming, and the overwhelm takes place over the vision, whereas we've just got to flip it. So that's why it's really important to do that. The second thing that I did is I worked hard on my craft every single day in the background. Now, to everybody else looking into my acting career, if you were just going to base it on commercial success of whether I'd got a TV role or whether I'd got paid to be in a film or a commercial or whatever, it would have looked like I was unsuccessful. But I don't concern myself with what other people think about my acting career. I used to, but I don't anymore, because I do this for me. And then it has a knock-on effect to my audiences, which I hope brings them joy, and I hope it leaves a mark on their life as well. But I stopped thinking about what everyone else was thinking and what their idea of success was, and I figured out what my idea of success was. And if I was getting up every single day, working fucking hard on my craft that nobody else could see I was doing, that was success to me, because that was taking me towards that big vision. And my vision is really, really big. So I have to have integrity and work on my craft because I value integrity. And I'll tell you something else that happened. As I worked on my craft every single day and also got coaching myself as well, so someone else coached me, it built my confidence. All those worries that I'd had in the past of, am I good enough, am I talented, they just disappeared. I mean, I'm not saying they fully disappear. Sometimes they come up, but I go, no, that's not true. It's not true that I'm not good enough because I'm disciplined and I work on my craft. And it was so fulfilling to do that, because the thing about us actors is we love creating. So I had to get creative every single day. And I've never felt so good in my entire life. So rather than seeing it as a chore and going, oh, I can't be bothered doing my 15 minutes relaxation today, I was like, no, I'm really excited to do my 15 minutes relaxation today, because that means I stop thinking, am I talented? Am I good enough? And it means I get closer to getting better, getting good enough, whatever my version of good enough is. And it feels good to do it. I feel creative. I feel alive. I feel like I'm an active participant in my acting career. So I did my sense memory, my relaxation, reading scripts, script analysis, obviously creating characters, working on scenes, did all sorts. That was on my own, but obviously I've got the tools to know what I need to do. But then what I would do is take my performances to another coach and get them to give me feedback and guide me. So I wasn't just relying on myself, because sometimes you need an outside eye as well. It doesn't matter what level we're at. You know, Bradley Cooper still gets acting coaching. Brad Pitt still gets an acting coach on board when he's casting films. We all need that outside eye. And that was really good for me. And it was really nice to work with another creative as well. The third thing I did is I started focusing on the type of actor I wanted to be. And I played to my strengths. I know what productions I want to be cast in. And so I filter out everything else. It's not that I'm saying I wouldn't do those other jobs. I would, but they're not my main focus. Because all I need to do is just stay focused on how do I get the work that I want to do. So you need to focus on the type of acting that you want to do, the type of actor that you want to be, and really go all in with it. And it feels good when you do that. It's just about, a lot of this is about flipping your mindset. Instead of seeing it as a chore, hard, challenging. Yes, it is all of those things. We don't deny it. But at the same time, we go, but this is fun. This is fun to do this. Because when I do it, I'm getting closer and closer and closer. And then eventually I'm going to fulfill my vision and I'm going to feel bloody amazing. So by focusing on the type of actor I wanted to be, I also started to feel really confident in myself, because I was like, yeah, that is who I am as an actor. Now, before, in the early days with my acting career, I didn't have a bloody clue what type of actor I was. I was just happy to play any character, because I was like, oh, I'm being creative and I get to be in character. But now I'm very, very clear on what I want to do. And that feels very exciting. But that's been an evolution for me as an actress. And if you're not right there now and you're just happy playing any type of character, that's absolutely cool. But you will also get to a point where you go, actually, no, this is the type of actor I want to be. And you'll stick with that and you'll feel very, very confident. So maybe just have a little think about it. What type of actor do I want to be? What type of roles do I want to play? What type of productions do I want to be in? And even if it feels like it's very far removed from you right now, like there's a lot of distance between where you are and where you want to be, by doing the things that I'm sharing with you in this podcast, you're going to feel really good about yourself, because action breeds confidence. Now, the fourth thing I did is I got a killer cover letter down. I started learning about copywriting, marketing. You don't have to do all these things, by the way. This might sound a little bit overwhelming. If that is too overwhelming for you and you're like, I really can't be bothered doing it, then I've literally linked my cover letters below, which you can get word for word. So I'll give you a shortcut. But I learned about copywriting. I learned about marketing. Because I decided what type of actor I wanted to be, I got that in my cover letter, managed to weave that in. And I started testing them. And I started testing out which ones got the most responses, which ones got me what I wanted, which ones didn't. And I got rid of the ones that didn't, or I tweaked them. And I just kept improving them until I was until they were doing what I needed them to do. And that made a big difference because, as I've said earlier in the episode, when I was applying for agents, I actually got a lot of responses, way more than I'd ever got in my life. And as I've already mentioned, I was getting agents telling me, oh, we're not right for you, or we can't offer you representation, or whatever. However, I recommend this agent, write to them. That was amazing. That made me feel so, so good. Because even though it's a rejection, I started to see rejection as redirection, and these cover letters were working for me. So I was like, oh, wow, there's something in this. So yeah, if you want my word for word ones, just go and click the link underneath and you can get them. But if not, and you want to learn about copywriting and marketing, then go ahead and do it, because it made a big difference for me. The other thing is, I worked, and this is a final thing, I worked on my mindset every single day to make sure I bloody believed I could do this. I stopped entertaining the ideas of, oh, well, you've had this amount of auditions in the past and you didn't get this amount of roles. I just stopped entertaining all of that. I stopped entertaining all of the bad feedback that I'd got in the past. I just let it go. I laid it to rest, all of that. As I've already said earlier in the episode, I'm not saying these little worries and these little bits of negative mindset thoughts don't crop back up every now and then. They do, but they just don't get the energy that they used to, because they're not worth it. Because I got super clear on what I wanted, and I recognised every time I'm entertaining those thoughts, they're taking me back. They're slowing my progression down, and that's not what I want. So I worked on my mindset every single day. That made me feel so confident in myself that I was like, I can do this. I can do this. It's not going to happen straight away. That's cool, but I can absolutely do this. So as I've already mentioned, this is the third time I mention it now, I turned my first audition back into the industry, into a paying job. That was mind-blowing. I literally cried when I got cast in that role, because I was like, wow, all this work that I have done in the background that nobody else has seen has amounted to me getting cast in this film, which I absolutely loved filming. It was screened about, I would say, a month, 6 weeks ago. I didn't even know there was a critic there, and he gave me an incredible review for my performance. Even that just totally built my confidence up. And every time you're building your confidence up, you're improving your screen presence. Because when you're confident, people want to watch you. So I want to tell you, we've got a one-off workshop coming up on Sunday, the 26th of November. It's worth £49, but you can get a free ticket. And it is called Ultimate Confidence, Turbocharge Your Screen Presence and Book More Roles. And I'll be taking what we've gone into in this podcast even further. And I'm going to give you lots of practical acting exercises that are going to get you feeling the most confident you've ever felt about yourself, about your characters, about your career, about your performances. And these are going to start leading to you booking more roles, just as it did for me. So go and click that link under the episode and grab your free place while places are still free and are still available. And I just really hope this episode has left something with you. I'll either see you in the workshop or I'll see you in the next episode. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.